You know, right now, there's a massive global power struggle happening. But forget what you think you know. It's not about land, it's not about oil, it's all about batteries. And let me tell you, the winners of this race, they won't just power our future, they're going to control it.
Take a look at these. They might just look like simple components, but these are literally the engines of the 21st century. I mean, lithium-ion batteries are fueling a full-blown revolution. We're talking everything from the car you drive to the power grid that lights your home. But here's the thing. Underneath that sleek, high-tech surface, the entire industry is in chaos, facing some really intense challenges.
And that brings us to this really fascinating paradox. I mean, think about it. Demand is absolutely soaring. It just crossed the 1 terawatt-hour milestone. Just to give you a sense of what that means, that's enough juice to power a major city for an entire year. So basic economics, right? Demand is high, prices should be skyrocketing, but they're not. They're crashing. So what on earth is going on here?
Yeah, the contrast is just stark. You've got demand surging like crazy, but prices have been basically chopped in half since 2018. So the big reason for this, a massive, massive oversupply of batteries. This is being driven by a huge manufacturing boom, mostly in Asia, which now pumps out over 75% of the entire world's supply. And what that's created is this hyper-competitive, super high-pressure environment where, honestly, every single penny counts.
Okay, so to win in a market like this, companies are basically fighting a war on three key fronts. Let's start with the first one, which is maybe the most exciting, the technology arms race. And this quote from McKinsey, it just captures the whole dynamic perfectly. We're not talking about waiting around for some single magical eureka moment. No, it's more like computer chips. Think Moore's Law. Batteries are on this path of just relentless step-by-step improvement. They're getting better, cheaper, and way more powerful year after year.
Right at the heart of all this progress, you've got two main players, two competing chemistries duking it out. In one corner, you have LFP. That's lithium iron phosphate. Think of it as the reliable, lower-cost workhorse. In the other corner, you have NMC, which is nickel manganese cobalt. That's your high-performance champion, the one that gives you that extra power and long range for those premium EVs.
So what's interesting is the market isn't just picking one winner here. If you look at the projections for 2035, it's basically an even split. And what that means for companies is, well, you can't just put all your chips on one technology. You absolutely need a dual strategy. You have to embrace the cost effectiveness of LFP and the top-tier performance of NMC. And the innovation isn't just stopping at the cathode. That's the positive side of the battery. No way. We're also seeing really cool stuff happening on the anode, the negative side, where they're adding silicon to pack in even more power. Plus, there are new manufacturing tricks, like dry electrode coating, that are making factories way more efficient. And yeah, you hear a lot about challengers like solid-state batteries, but the truth is, the constant improvement of good old lithium-ion tech is setting a really, really high bar for them to clear.
Okay, but let's be real. Having the best tech in the world is completely useless if you can't actually build it, and build it cheaply and reliably at a massive scale. And that brings us to the second front in this war, the factory floor. The magic word here, the key metric, is something called OEE, or Overall Equipment Effectiveness. The easiest way to think about it is like a report card for your factory. It's a brutally honest look at how productive you actually are. It answers the simple questions. Are your machines running when they should be? Are they running as fast as they can? And are they making perfect products every single time?
So OEE really just boils down to three key things. First, availability. Are your machines on or off? Second, performance. Are they going full speed? And third, quality. Are you making good stuff or junk? If you can master all three of those, that's the secret sauce to manufacturing excellence.
And when it comes to quality, there's a magic number everyone's chasing, 95%. That's the target for what's called first pass yield. It means 95 out of every 100 battery cells that come off the assembly line are perfect. Now, just think about this. New factories can start out with scrap rates as high as 80%. That's just incredible waste. So you can see why getting rid of that scrap is a huge, huge lever for making a profit.
All right, so this race isn't just being fought in sterile labs and on noisy factory floors. It's actually redrawing the entire global economic map. And that brings us to the third and final battleground, the geopolitical struggle. I mean, just look at this. Asia's dominance is, well, it's staggering. We're talking over 75% of all battery manufacturing. The US and the EU, they're barely even on the board.
This kind of imbalance is now seen as a major economic and, frankly, strategic risk. And you better believe Western nations are scrambling to catch up.
So how are they fighting back? With policy. A lot of policy. In the US, you've got the Inflation Reduction Act, or IRA. It's offering these huge tax credits that can slash manufacturing costs by a third, maybe even more. Meanwhile, the EU is taking a bit of a broader approach with its Critical Raw Materials Act. They're trying to build an entire regional supply chain, all the way from the mine to the recycling plant. But of course, there's a catch. Building these giant gigafactories is great, but it's just not enough. The real problem, the real dependency, is in what's called the midstream. That's all the complex processing that turns raw materials into actual battery-grade components. And right now, both the US and the EU are almost completely reliant on Asia for these supercritical steps. Closing that gap, that's the real challenge. So you've got this incredibly complex landscape of tech, manufacturing, and geopolitics all swirling together. What's the path to victory? Well, the next 24 months are going to be absolutely critical. And it turns out there's a pretty clear 5-point playbook for anyone who wants to succeed.
Okay, here it is. Number 1, get obsessed with costs. Crush those scrap rates. Number 2, industrialize fast. Get those new factories up and running without delays. 3, become an expert at using all that policy support. 4, do not sleep on grid storage. That market is absolutely exploding. And finally, number 5, place smart bets on the next generation of tech, but don't get distracted by every shiny new object. The companies that can nail these 5 things, they're the ones that are going to win.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, this great battery race is a story where the final chapter hasn't been written yet. The stakes couldn't be higher. And this three-way dance between technology, manufacturing, and pure geopolitics is just more intense than ever. And it all leaves us with one massive question. Who is going to power our future?